Now, we've been receiving a lot of questions related to COVID-19 as things constantly change both globally and here in New Hampshire.
So we asked you to send in your questions for Governor Chris Sununu. He's joining us live on set.
That's right, and as you can see, we're practicing social distancing, and so is the governor. So I will start with the first questions. Now, we received a lot of unemployment questions like this one right here from John, who says, I have an open unemployment claim dating back to March and haven't received any payments. I've called and spoken to representatives every week, and no one can tell me why my claim is taking so long to process.
We've been able to process over 95, I think close to 97% of the uninsurance employment and claims that have come in. And I think as of today, over $150 million has gone out of the state since the beginning of March. On your case in particular, I know there's 3,000 or 4,000 claims of the 130 or 40 that are in there that require a little more. They're very technical, they're very different, and so we're trying to put a lot of one-on-one effort on them. So I can't explain why yours in particular, unfortunately, hasn't been paid, but I know about 97% have. I heard a report that I think Florida's like 15% of their claims have been paid. So we're actually doing pretty well, relatively speaking. And those $600 checks are going out. I think that's why some of our numbers are so high. We've gone from about 50 million to 150 million in just about a week with all the additional claims and the opportunity. So we have about 200 people working in our call center at this time. So we've tried to get to 99% coverage of all the calls coming in. So unfortunately, I can't speak to that in one individual claim. I would, again, work with the representatives who have been talking to you. And again, hopefully they can get you a result at least in something of a short time.
Bronwyn asks, my husband got his extra $600 today in his unemployment. However, he did not get the back amount. Is that coming separate?
That's a good question. So the back pay the $600 should go back all the way to the point 2 days after the CARES Act was officially signed and passed. So I think it's approximately March 28th or 29th. So if you haven't received that, it definitely should be coming soon.
We also got a lot of questions about reopening the state. Jessica is asking, is May 4th still slated for reopening, or are we pushing it back?
You know, so reopening the state isn't really we're going to open, we're going to close, we're going to open and close. It's not a binary switch like that by any means. We had our first meeting, a public meeting of a task force today that's going to look at every little aspect of this. So whether we're talking about beaches or bowling alleys or hair salons or retail shops, whatever it might be, we're going to look at each of them individually, create guidance documents for them that might have some new norms. So for example, a retail store, we might say, look, you have to do online purchases, but we're going to do curbside pickup. A lot of stores are already doing that. We might limit the number of people that go into a store. We'll kind of take all of those variables into account and create those guidance documents, and then work with public health to figure out the best time that these different aspects of our economy and our communities can kind of open back up. But they'll be under kind of what we call a new norm, a new set of guidelines. The May 4th is more for the stay-at-home order. I don't anticipate the stay-at-home order just going away on May 4th. Unfortunately, we're just not there. We still have a lot of incidents of COVID. I think the numbers today were close to 100 new cases of COVID here in New Hampshire with 6 new deaths. So we're not on the downswing by any means yet. We could look at breaking it up geographically or demographically, depending on where you might be. But all those are variables in the mix. We want to provide flexibility. Nobody wants to get this state up and running faster than I do, believe me, but we have to be very careful. Public health has to be the first and most preeminent variable that we consider.
Well, and this kind of curtails just off of what you mentioned there. Ariel wants to know, since there is such a large disparity of infectious cases between northern and southern New Hampshire, would you consider relaxing rules in the north and relax them far less in the south?
The answer there is yes. That's definitely under consideration. In other words, if you look at Coos, Northern Grafton, Carroll County, even over in Cheshire on the western side of the state, they have very few incidents of COVID, whereas Rockingham and Hillsborough, more of those commuter counties down into Massachusetts, because Massachusetts still has 30, 40 times the infection and mortality rate that New Hampshire does. It doesn't stop at the border, so those southern communities and counties have been much more impacted than others. If we can find a way to do that, where we're opening certain parts of the states and others, that's definitely on the table. We could come into legal issues, we could come into constitutional issues there, so we're trying to keep all those aspects in mind. We want to create flexibility, but we do also have to work within the confines of the law.
All right, Governor, thank you so much. Round one is done. We'll be right back with more Q&A.